Set up back-to-back supply creation and fulfillment, Section 1. In this lesson, you will be introduced to the back-to-back setup. Our learning objectives are as follows. Describe the applications that participate in back-to-back sourcing and fulfillment. Identify additional or alternative setup options to support back-to-back flows for product management, global order promising, order management, and supply chain orchestration. And describe the impact of the discussed setup options on the back-to-back fulfillment flow. Our first topic describes the various cloud applications that participate in the back-to-back sourcing and fulfillment process. This lesson will cover the setup suggestions for the 7 applications listed on the slide. The 4 highlighted applications are covered in this lesson, and the remaining applications will be covered in the next following lesson. Because the back-to-back fulfillment is a variation on a regular order-to-cash process, all setups from the order-to-cash flow also apply. This topic will describe how to set up back-to-back process for product management. This screenshot shows the Edit Item page with the setup details for back-to-back. The only product setup change required to support back-to-back processing is selecting the back-to-back enabled option under Specifications and Sales and Order Management. The back-to-back enabled checkbox in the item setup is used for driving many back-to-back process steps and application logic. For example, Order Management and Supply Chain Orchestration use this option to assign the back-to-back orchestration processes. Global Order Promising uses this option to determine when a supply request is to be sent to supply chain orchestration. The next topic will describe how to set up back-to-back process for Global Order Promising. This screenshot shows the Edit ATP Rule page that shows how you can define ATP rules for back-to-back. Here, you would set the promising mode to Supply Chain Availability Search to ensure existing supplies are consumed first. With this promising mode selected, if there is existing supply, a supply recommendation of on-hand will be made. Under the supply types, here you'll select the sources that will be used to generate back-to-back supply. If one of the selected supply sources is make, enable the search components and resources to ensure component availability. GOP will assume goods will be available if the requested date is beyond the value which is set in the infinite availability time fence definition. Since back-to-back items often require long lead times for manufacturing and procurement, make sure that this definition is set with this in mind. For example, if all make orders require between 30 to 40 days for manufacturing and the time fence is set to 20 days, orders with requested ship dates that are 21 days away will be promised when in reality the goods will not be available until at least 9 days later. In this scenario, the lowest number used for the infinite availability time fence definition should be 41 days for lead time. Here, we see how to define source rules for back-to-back. For back-to-back functionality, select Local for organization assignment type. Depending on the general setup, ranking of sources, and the ability to provide supply in the required lead time, Global Order Promising will recommend on-hand, make, buy, or transfer recommendations. Our next topic describes how to set up back-to-back process for business rules and processes. Order management has predefined back-to-back processes that are assigned to sales orders for back-to-back items. Order management requires no mandatory setup beyond the normal order-to-cash setups to support the back-to-back flow. For supply chain orchestration, these processes are predefined and are automatically assigned to orders for items that are back-to-back enabled to manage purchase orders, work orders, and transfer orders. They are used to process a supply request, monitor progress, and report delays back to order management. A back-to-back process is assigned to orders for the items for which the back-to-back enabled option has been set to yes, and the mode of supply, which is make, buy, and so on, is suggested by GOP during scheduling. The default option is to process a transfer recommendation as a transfer, but enterprises also have the option to set up an execution document creation rules that will determine if the recommended transfer is to be executed as a transfer or as a purchase order from the shipping organization by the receiving organization. Our last topic will discuss back-to-back fulfillment flow practice. This diagram depicts the back-to-back buy flow. The practice for this lesson will walk you through the execution of a back-to-back buy flow. In the lesson, you will enter a sales order in order management that gets scheduled in GOP. You will see that a supply order is automatically created in SEO to create the back-to-back supply. The steps of these back-to-back flow are highlighted in red on the following slide. The remaining steps of the flow will be discussed in the follow-up lesson called Setup Back-to-Back Supply Creation and Fulfillment Part 2. Here's a summary of the practice steps for this lesson. You will enter the sales order information to create a sales order and submit it for processing. The order is scheduled in GOP, and that will provide the fulfillment warehouse and send the supply request to supply chain orchestration. Upon scheduling, you will view and verify the state of the order. After the order has been scheduled, you'll see that the supply order has been created automatically in supply chain orchestration and also to create that supply. Practice 7.1 will now walk you through how to perform an end-to-end fulfillment of back-to-back order. Before we go to the practice, let's do a quick summary of our chapter. In this lesson, we should now have learned how to describe the applications that participate in back-to-back sourcing and fulfillment, identify additional or alternative setup options to support the back-to-back flows for product management, GOP, order management, and SCO.